Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your week and a great start to your day. And we love having you on. So let's see if we can see you as you get your notifications. Okay, we'll see if anything comes up. If not, oh, Janice, how are you? From Brampton, Brahim, there you are, my friend. How are you? Lynn from Aurora. And we appreciate you guys coming on. I can see the scroll. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Donna from Newfoundland, good morning. Paul, how are you? 0 degrees out in Edmonton. Lorraine, British Columbia. And Patricia from Pulaski, Tennessee. Well, good morning. Diane, Peterborough. Brahim said he was number one. Rita, how are you? And Sylvia, nice to have you on. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Mary from Newfoundland. Fran from Orangeville. Good morning, Fran. I finally see your name. Judy, New Brunswick. Bonnie. Sharon, how are you? From Kansas. Karen from Innisfil. Dennis, good morning to you. And Dan, how are you? Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Lee's from Sudbury, yeah, and it's snowing, miserable. And John from Fenland Falls. Donna, Belle Ewart. Cheryl from Alabama. Hi, Cheryl. Wendy, London, Ontario. Shirley, Twin Gate, Newfoundland. Annie in Lively. Yeah. Etta, good morning. Amber, New Jersey. Nice to have you on. Helga from Scarborough. And Lynn from Sudbury. She said she's really enjoying the new book. Well, thank you very much. Gail, Francis, Dave from Muskoka. Jeanette from Kapuskasing. And it must be snowing big time up there. Linda, Patricia from Florida, good morning. Wanda from Virginia. John from Elgin, Illinois. Bruno, how are you? Jeanette, how are you? Lisa, good morning to you. Guys, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you. Cheryl says, hell, good for the Cheryls. Patricia, Karen, Darlene from Saskatchewan, Linda from Alberta. We love Linda's. Jeanette is saying good morning to everyone. And Doug, how are you, Douglas? Sandy, Washington. And let's see, a couple of more. Rula from Bolton. How are you, Rula? Patricia. A bit of snow out in Kansas, right? Diane, I think, yeah, that's bad weather. Heidi, Kristen, Saskatchewan. Catherine from Springdale, Newfoundland. Carol from West Virginia, good morning. Lynn and Lise and Judy, how are you? Okay, let's get going, guys. Kevin, Kevin, I've been waiting on you. What happened to you? Judy, Beverly, Sue, how are you, Sue? Nice to have you on. Chaz from Maryland, how are you? Cindy, we love you guys. Mary, Mary, where are you from? Aren't you in Anaheim? Linda, oh, Linda's. Robin, Cecilia, Shediac, New Brunswick, Marlene, Diane, and Rita. Okay, guys. Etta. Kevin is here. Ruby. Hi, Ruby. Denise. Okay, guys, let's get going. Let's just do an update on Olga because you guys have been asking, and you know, Olga was a very faithful member of our private Facebook group and the program the doctor is in. a follower and, always saying hello on the program. And then she got very unwell and she's in a hospice, but she's still trucking as far as I know. And we got an update the other day that she's still with us. So thanks, guys. And I know she appreciates it, your prayers. And thank you for this group who cares for each other. And, we're always pulling for each other, right? So thank you for that. Hi, Louise and Rita and Maureen in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm jealous. It's cold up here. Okay. So, just wanted to say hello to Olga. And I don't know if she's listening, but we care for her deeply. Thank you for your prayers, guys. Okay. Now, I want to talk this morning. We might hit a couple of things because of a couple of studies that I've been doing. There was one study just recently on melanoma. Now, you got nothing to worry about as far as seeing the sun. It seems to me it's been a month since I seen the sun around here. But anywho, let's talk about melanoma a little bit because we got a couple of things we want to follow. But the study is that melanoma, okay, which there's really three basic types of skin cancer, okay? There's melanoma, the worst, deadly. There is basal cell carcinoma, rarely ever deadly. A superficial skin cancer. And there's squamous cell. Maybe a little bit more dangerous, but really, very manageable, don't spread, whatever. But melanoma is another puppy. And, okay, it has gone up sixfold in the last 10 or 20 years. That's the study. It looks at it. It doesn't tell us why in the study, but I've talked about it many, many a time. If you go to my book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, okay, right in front of me, I talked about melanoma. And, but it's 6 times more prevalent than it used to be. Okay? Why? Okay? Why? And that's what I want to go over today because this article doesn't go over it, or this study doesn't go over it. It just tells us the numbers are way up. Okay? They're way up. And I want to just dig in, and this is a lot of, as usual, repetition. But it's important stuff because if you were to ask the question, melanoma, and people don't know that much about it generally, but they would tell you, well, that's too much sun. Okay? I think if you did a survey, you'd say, well, they burned in the sun, they got melanoma. Well, no. As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. And guys, if you've been following me for the last 20, 30 years on the media, okay, radio and podcasting, okay, if you've been following me, and I know many of you have, I've been consistent about skin cancer. And I don't care if it's melanoma, squamous cell, or basal cell. The problem's not the problem's the sun. The problem is the sun. But the problem is a lack of sun. It's not the sun that causes the cancer. It's the lack of sun. Now, I never, ever, ever told anyone to go out in the sun and, cook yourself like a lobster. I don't want that. Never have, never will. And I always recommend it to parents or whatever when they ask me, well, like you're out in the sun all day and you're going to get a sunburn. Well, cover up. Cover up. Even in the water, like you're going on vacation, cover up. Wear a light t-shirt, get it wet. So what? Cover up once you've had enough sun. But guys, it's a lack of sun. You know why? I'll tell you what, okay? Let me just tell you. Since the 1950s, when I was a little boy, we spend, and especially in the last 20, 30 years, the average person in North America spends so much more time indoors than we used to. It's people, this is melanoma, by the way, okay? This is, guys, you can Google it. Melanoma occurs, the deadly cancer occurs to people who don't get enough sun. If you work indoors, live most of your life indoors, and young people, we do that. Not we. I'm not young, but you know what I'm saying. When we were a kid, my mother, 11 children, you didn't stay inside in our house. Like my mother, you get out there, okay? And, with the way it used to be, we spent the days outdoors. You'd be lucky to get called in for lunch. It's just the way it was. I know it's a different world. We live in a different world. I understand that, okay? I'm just telling you guys, when you see something like melanoma and they blame it on the sun, it's the lack of sun. It's the lack of sun. You can't live without the sun. You were built for the sun. Every cell in your body's got an antenna for vitamin D. The sun. But let me tell you why we see, in my opinion, I'm going to give you several reasons why we see so much melanoma today. And people that get it, and this is just a fact, guys, are people generally that don't get a lot of sun. People that work indoors. People that live indoors. And they don't see the sun. Since I don't know when. Isn't that a song? Okay. So, here I'm going to give you reasons, okay? Why do we see so much melanoma? Here's reason number one, Dr. Martin, okay? Remember, this is me. I want to let's get under the hood and see why there's so much skin cancer. And like I said, I'm not talking about necessarily basal or squamous. I'm talking about melanoma. Okay? The first reason, okay, lack of sun. And 2, sunscreens. Okay? What scared the living life out of us, and I watched it happen, guys. You know when you're old enough? I mean, when I use this all the time, but I've been around that sun for talking about age a lot of times. Okay? And my observations, like my grandchildren say, Grandpa, when were you born? In the days of Noah? You're so old. Because you always talk about, when I was a kid. Okay? Yeah, we walked to school, uphill, both ways. That's what I tell my grandchildren. In 3 feet of snow. We didn't have any snow days. We had snow days, but you still had to go to school. And they look at me like Grandpa, you're so ancient. Yeah, it's true. But I observe things. And I'll tell you guys, I wrote a book 30 years ago or more. Way before Sun, Steak, and Steel. And I talked about the Johnson & Johnson disease. I called it the Johnson & Johnson because they were the first ones out with the sunscreen. You know what I learned in high school chemistry? Not much. I majored in recess. But I did learn something. What not to do in a chemistry lab. Put ingredients, I was just fooling around, as usual. Putting a mixture together like a mad scientist and then adding heat to it. The Bunsen burner. You remember that, guys? And I almost killed everyone in that class. What an experiment, but I never forgot it. You add heat to chemicals. What do you get? Disaster. And sunscreen, I screamed about sunscreen for years. Don't use it. Chemicals. And isn't it interesting, in the last few years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of products were recalled by the FDA. I don't know if they did it I don't think Health Canada did it. They should have, if they didn't. But the FDA recalled hundreds and hundreds of sunscreens and here's what the FDA said. They're carcinogenic. We're pulling them. They have ingredients in there that are carcinogenic. Man, for the FDA to tell you that, you know it's bad. When they recall products, take them off the shelves, bad. You go to a beach and you see, look, parents, I get it. They've been brainwashed. These sprays, and they lather up these kids. And I want to cry. Don't do that. You're putting chemicals right on the skin. You want to put something in the body? Put it on the skin. What do you think? All these new meds and all this and that, now you can get patches. And, I was talking to a friend the other day, and he's angina. And they don't take a pill, they take a patch. Yeah, transdermal, through the skin. Well, what do you think when you add heat to those sunscreens? What do you think happens there? I'm telling you, it's one of the biggest reasons we see such a huge increase in melanoma. It gets inside. Those chemicals get inside. And so that's a big, big sunscreen was invented in the 1940s. And man, like what they did, and they were smart. I got to give them, when I always give high fives in marketing. Okay? I told you about cholesterol, have I? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Marketing cholesterol medications. Did it work? Number one selling medication of all time. You know what Johnson & Johnson did? They were smart. You know what they did? They went after the dermatologist. And they got the dermatologist 100% behind them to use sunscreen. So the dermatologists, they went even further. Yeah, make sure you're using sunscreen. But you know what they said? The sun is the boogeyman. The dermatologists in this world, generally, if they could block the sun, they'd block it. Like Bill Gates wants to do. Block the sun. I can't get over it. How crazy they are. But that's in their DNA now. And you know what? The sun. You want to age, sun. You want to die, yes, sun. Get out of the sun. And I know people, especially my generation and my parents' generation. Man, they bought that lie. Sunscreen, don't leave home without it. And, melanoma rates are up 6-fold. People are indoors, not outdoors, like they used to be. Johnson & Johnson and others. The overuse of sunscreens. Okay? Reason number 2. Reason number 3. The perfect storm for melanoma. Low levels of sun. Okay? Low levels of vitamin D. Plus the addition of sugar and bad oils. Now, this is anecdotal, guys. Okay, meaning that I'm only going to give you and I talked about this in Sun, Steak, and Steel. I talked about this in the metabolic syndrome, the 30-day reset. How many people, and again, this is just patient testimonies. Dr. Martin, I used to burn in the sun. And since I cut out sugars, and I cut out those crappy oils, those industrial strength oils that are in all the processed foods and the middle aisles of your grocery store. When I cut that out and I got back to eating eggs, meat, and cheese, man, I don't burn in the sun anymore. That was me. And I talk about it. And melanoma is a combination of low levels of vitamin D, big time, low levels of that sunlight on the skin, the chemicals put on the skin, and then on the inside of the body, when you're eating sugar, and when nobody on this planet was ever built to consume the amount of sugar that you and I consume. I mean, I say you and I, mankind, North America. We changed the sugar to high fructose corn syrup. And we're consuming a dump truck load of it. And the body, that creates in the body glycation, okay? Oxidation, rusting out, and inflammation. Oxidation, glycation, okay, and inflammation inside the body. The body wasn't meant for that. Now, oxidation is rusting out. Of course, we're all rusting out. But you don't want that accelerated. And melanoma is a combination of that. I am convinced of that. That's why we see so much of it today. We changed the oil. We went from butter to margarine. Right? And we went from good cooking oils, like butter, olive oil, good fish oil. Well, I'm not talking about cooking in it, but I'm just telling you, when we changed oils, we went to these industrial so-called vegetable oils that were meant for your car and not for your body. And that creates inflammation in the body and oxidation and glycation. Sugar is glycation more than anything else. That is giving you the chemistry needed for cancer. It's a big factor. And you all know that melanoma needs fuel, guys. It needs fuel. And I taught this to you guys. Cancer cells have receptors. Much more receptors than a normal cell. The mitochondria, the battery packs within cancer cells, they're damaged. And instead of, trying to live on normal food, they live on fermentation and sugar. Sugar they need sugar. They can't live without sugar. They can't reproduce without sugar. And that's a big issue because we feed the bears of cancer cells. Okay. Let me give you another one. Okay. Now this, you have to live with me for a second as I give you this. Hammering down cholesterol. Every cell in your body needs cholesterol. And we've made it like the sun. We've made it the boogeyman. We've made cholesterol the boogeyman. Why did we do that? One guy started the whole process. And the whole world went for it. The whole world went saturated fat, stupid. When I was just a little voice in the wilderness. Stop! Why are you fearing cholesterol? There's no such thing as bad cholesterol. It's not cholesterol. But you know what? If you don't have enough cholesterol, your body don't, you know what I say, okay? God don't trust you. Man, we're not to be trusted. Okay? We're not to be trusted. God don't trust us. So 85% of your cholesterol, God makes it. Your body makes it. And we're supposed to, okay, do our part. 15%. Now, if you don't make your part, or if you're on a statin drug hammering down your cholesterol, like, 60, 70% of people over 60 years old are on a statin drug, hammering down their cholesterol. That's one of the worst things you could do. Because you need cholesterol to absorb vitamin D. The sun hits your skin, beautiful. Okay? But then there's a process. Remember, vitamin D is a hormone. It's a vitamin and a hormone. You need it. But you need cholesterol to absorb it. And when you don't add your 15%, that's why, like somebody said, well, Dr. Martin, what about LDL? LDL. What is, and it's not every week, guys. It's every day I get a question about, and guys, listen to me. Linda, listen. Larry, listen. Ask questions. I don't care if you ask it every day. I don't care. I mean it. Ask questions. Dr. Martin, what about my total cholesterol? What about it? And guys, if you ask a question for Fridays, please, okay, if you want to send in numbers for Friday, and you ask me, and then you put numbers there, like a lot of times that happens, I want to know your triglycerides, fat balls, and I want to know your HDL. You want to put the other stuff in there? I don't care. And I don't want to see low LDL, ever. What? I don't want to see LDL. I mean, wait a minute. I don't want to see low LDL. You need LDL for your immune system. It's not a bad guy, even if it's high. Well, as a matter of fact, I want it high. I want HDL to be high. I want LDL to be high. The only thing I want to be low is your triglycerides. Because triglycerides will tell you how much sugar you're eating, how many crappy carbs you're eating. I know it's different, guys. I know I'm thinking outside the box that they want to put the rest of the world into. This is why I do this program. I want to tell you something different. And I just going on basic biochemistry. Who in the world convinced us that cholesterol is bad for you? And you see, this is, one more step. That's why they don't like animal products, guys. That's why the world went stupid. They don't know. Eggs, be careful. Meat, be careful. Cheese, dairy, be careful. Bad, acidic, no good. Because only in the animal kingdom, your 15% cholesterol that you're supposed to provide to your body through food? The only way to get cholesterol is to eat animal products. I'm sorry. Cholesterol is not found in the plant kingdom. Why do you think they vilify the animal kingdom so much? I never bought it, guys. I never bought it. I never bought it. And it's one of the reasons that we see so much melanoma today. You need cholesterol for your vitamin D levels. You need cholesterol. And we're crazy against it. Oh, okay, I can breathe now. Okay? Okay, guys, I just thought I'd bring it to you because I saw it. Here's the headline, melanoma. The rates are up 6-fold. Less sun, rates of melanoma go up. Now, don't go burn. Don't say Dr. Martin said just get as much sun as you can. Just go burn like a lobster. I didn't say it. You know, guys, I didn't say that. But you better get in the sun when it comes out. And I just don't know when I'll ever see it again. You need to take vitamin D, by the way. Everybody should be taking vitamin D. You ain't getting enough sun, okay? Okay, guys, we love you guys dearly and sincerely. Did you get your book? Okay? Did you get your book? Our new book? Rebuild Your Temple. #1 selling health book in Canada. Let's make it #1 in the States, too. Okay. Guys, we love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon.